Hello YouTubers. Well, it's been a while since I've posted a video on here. I've mostly been putting my videos to my Facebook page, and I just thought I didn't want to leave the year, let the year come to an end without posting one more video. I guess this is kind of the year wrap-up video that people do. I guess I just haven't really posted anything on this particular YouTube channel because it is about narcissism, and it is about the story that I shared on here was about my situation that I went through with a narcissist, having been involved with a man who, as it turned out, was a major narcissist. And for those of you who follow me regularly and listen to me both here and on Facebook, you know that I talked about back in the summer months that he had passed away. And I wasn't going to continue to talk about him. That's probably one of the reasons why I've kind of laid off making videos about narcissism directly, is because I knew that if I did, I would definitely, circle around to talk about him. And occasionally on my Facebook page, when I make a video, I do the story about me and him does, kind of come into it. But I guess that's inevitable, because he is my example of how I learned and got started talking about this stuff, was because of that relationship that I had with him. Now, the last video or two that I made was surrounding the aftermath of his death. I know that there are people out there who are going to find this a little odd, and I've made, like I said, I did make some videos about that. So people had their opinions, that, that's okay, but I truly, I wrap up this year, 2022, in my heart and in my mind and my thoughts, that this woman that he became involved with before his death, in my personal opinion, was to spare her and her children the horrors that they would have gone through. Now, by this time of year, as we're coming to the end of 2022, at December the 31st, the two of them would have probably have been together about 7 or 8 months at that point. Probably married by now, because narcissists love to rush in, She may have been to the point where she started to wake up to some of the red flags that she might have ignored, And all I can say about it, and I don't know if anybody else out there in the hemisphere, in the world, has ever had these types of thoughts, is that we all see these little memes and things posted on social media about how one door closes so another door can open, or we have to break our heart to save our soul, or things of that nature. I truly just believe that some grander divine intervention took place to spare this woman and her kids what I went through, what his ex-wife and her children went through, what the women before us went through, the woman he was with before me and went back to after me, and her kids, his own kids, and his own family members. I mean, to get started talking about all that, it was just, it goes through my head, the different behaviors of narcissists and how they treat people and how they choose to be treated. Because, see, it worked in his favor with me and with other women and with people that he worked with and other people, when he could say to people, you know, I've got family that live right up the street from me and they don't want anything to do with me. They won't speak to me or come around me. That made him a victim, and that was the type of mentality that he lived with. That was how he portrayed himself to others, and myself included. So it worked in his favor to be able to do that, you know. But as I said, that's one of the reasons I stopped making videos, because once I start talking about narcissism, I always start talking about him and his behavior, and all I can say is this: I pray that he does rest in peace. Now, we all know the thought system is that narcissists are evil, destructive, demonic, dark-spirited people. And I do believe that. And when he died, when I found out that he had died, I did ask the question, is it possible for a narcissist to go to heaven? If you believe in that afterlife, I don't know how it would be possible, because they commit all of the sins and they break all of the rules. And I know everybody believes in forgiveness, but all I can say is that I believe for probably the first time in their lives, his children and the people that he has been involved with throughout his life, his family, the women, myself included, and others, since knowing him for the first time, they can have some peace. He runs through my mind from time to time. I will admit that there are times when I will hear a song, or I'll remember some memory, or I'll think about something that we did or talked about, and for just a split second, I'll think about him, and then I'll remind myself that he's no longer alive. He's gone. And I no longer have to ever worry about him causing havoc in my life. But I don't want to dwell on the past. That's why I'm making this video today, as 2022 comes to an end. And I'm going to leave. I don't want to be fake. I don't want to be fake and say I'm leaving all this behind me and forgetting about it, because we can't forget things that happen to us in our lives. We'll always remember people, and we'll always remember good people, and we'll remember bad people. Sadly, sometimes we remember the bad people more than we remember the good people. But if we learn from those people, and if we take anything with us going forward that those people left us with, we should say we remember, and we will take with us the lessons that we learned. I encourage people to really think. We would tell our family members or ourselves to really give something a lot of thought before going into a business venture. If someone offered you, to become their business partner in something, you would say to yourself, let me think about that. Let me really do my research. Let me, do some background history on that before you rushed in and started a business partnership with somebody. So I say to people, use that same mentality when you're talking about getting involved with somebody romantically or friendship-wise. Because, in the long run, it's basically the same thought system. You But the difference is, and I know the difference is our heart. We, as human beings, we follow our heart when it comes to romance. We follow those endorphins and that rush of excitement and adrenaline when we first meet somebody and we find ourselves attracted to them. It's pretty well um, something that is very difficult to control. Some people are better at it than others. And we let our guard down and we let our resistance down and we believe and keep in mind another time that is with your normal average run of the mill attraction to someone. Factor in a narcissist is so skilled at grooming you and love bombing you and building up all these emotions and thoughts in you that go right along with the physical. Like all of their love bombing, all their grooming, all of their mirroring, all the stuff that they tell you and convince you of, and lead you to believe every word that they say is fact. Connect that with your physical hormones and stuff in your body that are harder to have control over. You know. I mean, honestly, I really don't know what else there is to say about it. It's just. But, like I said, going into this year, I. I don't, honestly, to be honest with everybody here, I don't know how this channel is going to continue. I may switch to different topics. Uh, I know everybody started following me. Mostly, the biggest number of people really started following me after I started talking about CMC the scammer. So I may continue talking about scammers and con artists and people who take advantage and manipulate others, such as her and others like her. And sometimes I look back at that and I ask myself, how could you have continued after you figured out about him being a narcissist and after you started to read and research and listen to other videos and make my own videos, and still allowed him to continue to reach out to me and still allowed him to continue to try to, get together with me or whatever. And I ask myself that a lot. But it's another form of my brainwashing and mind control and manipulation and uh, this trauma bond that you develop. They make sure that during the time that you are with them or the time that you are connected to them, that something traumatic happens between the two of you. And it's just like I've used this analogy before. It's just like when a person will hurt or wound an animal or a small child. And then they turn around and they offer comfort to that same victim. And eventually the victim starts to see things differently. They they know that they're going to be smacked or hit or kicked or whatever other injury or harm this person does to them, this abuser does to them. But they come to rely on that same person for comfort and love and hugs and soothing and comfort after the abuse because they isolate them from anybody else. So they're not getting comfort and they're not getting any kind of offerings of help from anybody else because they're being so quiet about it. They're not telling anybody about what's happening to them. So the abuser is the only person they do have to go to for comfort. And the abuser knows this. And the abuser will continue to abuse, and then they will turn around and offer comfort. And the victim believes themselves to be the bad person. They must be doing something wrong to bring this on themselves. Because after all, they were being loved on and hugged and comforted and kissed and told it'll be okay. And eventually they come to believe that they're doing something wrong to cause this person to become angry and hurtful toward them. And it's a sad cycle, but it's true. And it's a sad cycle with a narcissist. They make sure to create some kind of bond to where you allow yourselves to turn right back to them. And they find it really hard to accept when the abuse victim, their supply, turns their back on them once and for all. It's me. But I don't want to continue talking about this. This is one of the reasons why I say that for me to continue on this channel and to talk about narcissism, it's going to lead to more of this. And I really don't want to continue to talk about him or the past. I've told everything there is to tell about him in my playlist, My Relationship with the Narcissist. And I talk very openly in a lot of my videos about some abusive behaviors that went on. There's really nothing more for me to talk about the past. And since he's no longer here for me to have to heal, I'm losing my voice. Since he's no longer here for me to have to heal from future abuse or to avoid future abuse, there's really nothing left for me to say about that. But I will from time to time make videos on here, and if anybody's interested, I may continue to talk about scammers and con artists and people of that nature, and just kind of stay away from that narcissism angle, because just like this video ended up being all about him, and this has taught me one more lesson, is that even in their death, a narcissist they never stop being inside your brain, you know. Even in their death, they still remain a part of a traumatic memory for you, and part of a sad and somewhat dismal part of your life, a very dismal part of your life. So the only thing that I can do to overcome all of that and to rise above it and to not live in it or dwell in it is to just stop talking about it. So as 2022 comes to an end, going into 2023, I just want to say thank you so very much to all of you who have subscribed to this channel. Whether or not you subscribe because I was talking about narcissistic relationships, or you subscribed because I was talking about CMC and other scammers like her, or stories related to harmful behaviors of people, abusive people. I appreciate every subscriber, and I will try to continue this channel as long as there is an interest. If I don't see comments or likes or new subscribers, I may very well just move on. So I don't want to be a victim any longer, and I don't want to be a victim of a narcissist. And I know that I started this channel to try to help some other victims out there, but I don't want to continue talking about him. And it's just, I have to be honest with myself and say, anytime I bring up narcissism, it's going to be impossible for me to not talk about him. So on that note, I want to say thanks again, and I apologize for my voice. I hope everybody had a good 2022, and I hope you have an even better 2023. And like I said, I will make some videos on here for those of you who do follow me on Facebook. And I will link, I believe I already did link this channel to my Facebook. I believe I did. And If anybody's interested, I will continue, and if not, I'll move on and let you all watch something else. But I do appreciate you, and thanks for listening.